A live now look at the White House over in Washington, D.C. as we continue to follow some breaking news at this moment. So I do want to come on the screen and bring you the latest that we have right now as we're hearing that former U.S. President Jimmy Carter has died. I do want to bring up this tweet from the Atlantic Journal-Constitution, the first to break this story. Here, the tweet on your screen saying, breaking, Jimmy Carter, the 39th president of the United States, has died. Chip Carter, a son of the former president, said his father died about 3:40 p.m. on Sunday in his Plains home. Now, I do want to continue to read some more from what the Atlantic Journal-Constitution is reporting as I pull up some video of the late president. Here on your screen is Jimmy Carter. So once again, according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, they say this: former President Jimmy Carter, a man who redefined what a post-presidency could be, died Sunday. He was 100 years old. His son, Chip Carter, confirmed that the former president died at his home in Plains about 3:45 in the afternoon. Now, Carter, who lived longer than any other U.S. president, entered home hospice care in Plains, Georgia in February of 2023 after a series of short hospital stays. The only Georgian ever elected to the White House, Carter left office after a single term that was highlighted by forging peace between Israel and Egypt, but was overshadowed by the Iran hostage crisis. In the decades after, his reputation grew through his and wife Rosalind Carter's work at the Carter Center in Atlanta and his philanthropic causes such as Habitat for Humanity. James Earl Carter Jr. was born in Plains on October 1st in 1924, the first of four children of Earl Carter, a farmer and businessman, and Lydian Gordy Carter, a registered nurse. Once again, I am reading some copy from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the first to break this story. Jimmy Carter there, gaining an appointment to the U.S. Naval Academy, graduated and joined the Navy submarine branch, where in 7 years he worked his way into Rickover Boys, the elite and nascent unit of America's nuclear submarine fleet, championed by the iconic Admiral Hyman Rickover. Carter was on his way up until a death at home changed his destiny. More of this obituary here and all of the highlights from Jimmy Carter as detailed by the Atlantic Journal-Constitution. If you are just joining us here at Live Now from Fox, I do want to bring up this tweet from the news organization breaking that story that former U.S. President Jimmy Carter has died at the age of 100. They say that Chip Carter, a son of the former president, said his father died about 3:40 p.m. on Sunday in his Plains home. Now, earlier this year, during the 2024 campaign season, we did get a rare glimpse of Jimmy Carter after he had been admitted into hospice care back in 2023. And earlier, we did see him cast a vote for the 2024 U.S. presidency. And just a few months ago, we did see his wife, Rosalind Carter, also die. So Jimmy Carter here being the longest living U.S. president. I'd like to go back and read more of the obituary provided by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution as I bring back some more footage from the late president. Jimmy Carter was elected governor in 1970 and served as one successful term before launching an improbable bid to become president, winning the Democratic nomination and then defeating Republican President Gerald Ford in 1976. On his inauguration day, rather than driving past the crowds in an armored limousine, Jimmy and Rosalind emerged from the car with daughter Amy at their side and walked down Pennsylvania Avenue holding hands and waving. Carter's successes included promoting human rights, adding to the national park and preserve system, reestablishing government credibility after the Watergate crisis, and the Camp David Accords, which forged a peace agreement between Egypt and Israel. At home, a foundering economy exacerbated by oil embargoes from the Middle East countries and the rise of the Republican Party under Ronald Reagan helped lead to his defeat in November of 1980. And here you're taking a look at some of the older footage that we do have of Jimmy Carter. As you can see that he was very well active out there in the community, establishing numerous foundations and continuing to show his support for states across the U.S. We see here on your screen there with his late wife, Rosalind Carter, who also died. We detailed that event also extensively here at Live Now from Fox. Now, this is truly tragic news as we're seeing the oldest living president, Jimmy Carter, passing away at the age of 100. We're looking forward to seeing what the coverage is going to look like. Of course, all across the country, we're going to be seeing tributes pouring in for Jimmy Carter as he has really left a monumental legacy. At 100 years old, Jimmy Carter, there, as you can see, continuing with some more of this footage, all the people that he convened with. And again, we did get that breaking news from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I'm going to pull it back, this tweet once again, as we continue to work up some more information. But Jimmy Carter, the 39th president of the United States, has died. One of his sons, Chip Carter, they are confirming that. And here we go, a tweet from the Carter Center saying, "Our founder, former U.S. President Jimmy Carter, passed away this afternoon in Plains, Georgia." We're going to continue to rack up some more of the tweets, all of the reaction that we're getting as this monumental news is pouring in. The late President Jimmy Carter. But going back to some of these highlights that once again are being reported by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, saying there that his son Chip Carter confirming that the former president dying at his home in Plains at about 3:45 in the afternoon local time there. We're kind of going through some more of these articles. Reuters also confirming as well a former U.S. President Jimmy Carter, who won the Nobel Peace Prize, has died at 100. And they're citing the Atlanta Journal-Constitution as they did report this breaking news. Going back to more of this obituary from the former president, as you're taking a look here on your screen at a tweet from the Carter Center, that Carter did live longer than any other U.S. president, entering home hospice care in Plains, Georgia back in February of 2023 after a series of short hospital stays. The only Georgian ever elected to the White House, Carter left office after a single term that was highlighted by forging peace between Israel and Egypt. And in the decades later, his reputation grew through his and his wife's work at the Carter Center. You're taking a look at the screen, a tweet from them. The Carter Center, located in Atlanta, Georgia,